Hi everybody, welcome back to Main Mission Hope. I'm really glad you're here as we try and navigate our way through our faith journey, whether we're new to Christianity or returning like me after a long absence. But today I want to explore one of the deepest and most mysterious truths of our faith, and that is the eternal nature, not only of God, but also of Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and the way that the Son, so Jesus, has always been with the Father. Now, this can be quite surprising to even people who have been religious for an awful long time. And what we'll do is we'll look at how different Christian denominations explain this and what it means for us as new Christians. And my hope is that by the end of this video, you'll know a bit more and you'll feel a sense of awe and comfort knowing that the timeless love of God is with you always. So let's start with the basics. In Christianity, we believe in the Trinity. God exists as three persons in one being. God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now this doesn't only sound confusing, it is confusing when you're new to this. One of the ways you can think about it, but remember these allegories are far from perfect, is water. You know, you could have some water, couldn't you? And water can be liquid, ice or vapor, but it's still water. But what we're saying is with Father, Jesus, the Son and the Holy Spirit, they can be all three at the same time. So, you know, in a similar way, God is one, but he's in three different people. And each one, the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit, is fully God, but they're not three separate gods, they're equal. They've always existed together and they share the same essence. Now, the thing is, though, this definitely is a mystery that we cannot fully grasp, but it's at the heart of what I believe as a Christian. However, there are certain types of people who may be able to understand this. Well, theologians, perhaps, who can say, all right, okay, well, three people in one God, right, okay. But if you've studied things like light, we can accept that light exists and behaves as a particle and a wave at the same time. So think that, again, it's not a perfect allegory, but if you've come across that and you've come across interference experiments with light, then that maybe gives us an idea. Now let's talk about what it means that they're eternal. And when I say eternal, I mean there was never a time when God the Father, Jesus the Son or the Holy Spirit didn't exist. They've always been. In the Bible, Jesus says, before Abraham was, I am. That's in John 8:58. He's saying he's existed long before his birth as a human, even before Abraham, who lived thousands of years earlier. Then in Genesis 1:2, I read that the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters at the very beginning of creation. And God the Father, well, he's the eternal creator, always present, always sovereign. This just blows my mind. But it can fill you with hope and should fill you with hope because God isn't limited by time like we are. He's always been there and he always will be. Now, even though all Christians believe in the Trinity, different denominations explain it in their own ways. Roman Catholics, for example, stress the unity of the Trinity and look to the church to help interpret this truth. Eastern Orthodox Christians focus on the mystery and talk about how the three persons dwell in each other, an idea called perichoresis. They'll probably said that wrong. Protestants, like Lutherans or Reformed churches, lean on the Bible alone to understand it, and they might debate details like how the Holy Spirit relates to the Father and Son. Evangelicals emphasize a personal connection with Jesus and the Spirit's work in our lives. And Pentecostals highlight the Holy Spirit's power today, like through speaking in tongues. And despite all these differences, it is amazing that they all agree on the core. God is one in three persons, eternal, together. So what does this mean for new Christians, and if you're new to the faith? Well, it's incredibly comforting. Knowing that God, Jesus and the Holy Spirit are eternal means they've always been with us, even before we knew it. Jesus has been with the Father forever, even through his life, death and resurrection. He's opened a way for you to know God personally. And the Holy Spirit is here now, guiding you, comforting you and me, helping us grow. And here's the hopeful part. This eternal love within the Trinity shows us that what we're called to. Jesus prayed to John in 17:21 that we'd be one, just as he and the Father are one. For me, that means my faith isn't just about me, it's about loving God and others, reflecting that eternal unity. So wrapping up then, hopefully I've sort of explained the eternal nature of God, Jesus and the Holy Spirit as a mystery that invites us all closer to him. And different denominations, they explain it differently, but the truth remains: God is one in three, forever united in love. And as you walk this faith journey, I encourage you to think about this and let it shape how you live. You're not alone. The eternal God is with you. Thanks for joining me today. If this helped you, please like, share and subscribe to Main Mission Hope. May God bless you and hold you in his eternal love.